Peace, HHDG. We're on another episode of HHDG Media, the podcast. And as always, big appreciation to everyone that's been tuning in through our YouTube channel. Giving us the comments, sharing, liking, reposting throughout various forms of social media platforms, Instagram, X, and also, word of mouth. So we definitely appreciate that. Doing it for the culture, and there's a lot of talent that I appreciate that continues to return, as well as new artists that we haven't spoken with. As you can see on our bottom banner, you can check out our website, hhdgmedia.com. Up there is previous written interviews, as well as our music, upcoming events, and also our merch. Always, this is made possible because of our family, our company, HHDG Media Inc., which is Rock Vader KB, the Mayor, T. Smith, Skelly Top, and myself, Wiki. For tonight, we have a returning guest who is continuously about solidarity. And I love the fact that it's how consistent it is, no matter what the climate may be. And the fact that he also is always putting on for his hometown and the other places he's lived in. Baton Rouge and now Tulsa. I definitely like the fact that it's not just about solidarity. He's in the community. He's an educator, he's a scholar. He's definitely active and getting people involved to make sure that our communities have the knowledge of the past and what is continuously going on now, to keep us uplifted, because there's a lot of negativity that continues to plague us, and a lot of what we influence continues to try and get whitewashed as well. So he makes excellent music, and always with ill producers, especially the fam, J. Philly. And just last year had the Black Dilemma joint, and that's become one of my favorites out of his discography, and we'll definitely get into that later on. But for this year, he dropped Black Love, and that was on April 3rd. And again, I love how he embraces the positivity of our people, and it never comes off preachy. It's fully ingrained in the culture of hip hop. And if you listen to it, you get a good glimpse of how his catalog is. And I love that it's consistent. It's not for any type of filler or likes and popularity. No, this is for our people, and he continues to do that each and every project. And if you catch him in your city, definitely suggest that you go check him out. And I'm hoping to do the same this summer. So without further ado, returning once again, Marcel P. Black.
How you doing, good brother?
Good.
I appreciate the kind words in the intro, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. I mean, your work speaks for itself, but outside of your work in music, your work in the community, your work in uplifting, your work in speaking with not just the youth, but also people our age, and getting an understanding of, just because we grew up in a certain low-income environment doesn't mean that we have to continue on with that mentality. We come from a very rich cultures, so just because we're in another continent don't mean that we need to abide by what we've been conditioned.
Absolutely, 100%.
So I think the last time we spoke was about 3 years, maybe.
Yeah, that was what, 20, maybe 22 or 23, I want to say.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, it was right up to More Culture. So that was 23.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. How things been since then?
Oh boy, my favorite rapper Fonte say, "I've been fighting a good fight, but they ain't paying me, dog." You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, just living life. You know what I'm saying? Just adjusting to, I lived in Louisiana for 20 years. You know, so my father passed away. That I moved to Oklahoma. Just kind of, I've been here for literally, I want to say today is 5 years to the day when I actually arrived in Tulsa. Just been ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of readjusting. Like nobody tells you how difficult it is to start over as an adult. You know what I'm saying? You almost, I moved here when I was 37. I'm 42 now. You know what I'm saying? So just but everything is good, man. The Lord has taken care of me and my family. You know what I'm saying? The music, I pretty much with the pandemic, I thought it was over with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I lost everything at once. You know what I'm saying? But and so I didn't think that I would be able to tour like I used to, you know what I'm saying, 5 years ago, pre-pandemic. But I've been blessed, man. I just feel like all the time that I put into the culture has definitely made a space for me. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm thankful for that.
That's great. That's absolutely great. With the new project Black Love, you also I love the how it's all organized. The Black Love tour you got all set up for the cities and everything. Now this is big. Definitely. I mean, this is big for you, and this is big for the fans to be able to be possibly in their city or close proximity. So tell us how this all came to be.
Man, so I'm really excited about this tour because like there were 4 cities on the tour that wasn't on there originally that absolutely once the album came out, people heard the album was like, yo, we got to get you here. You know what I'm saying? So the music made a way. In some of these cities I've never been able to perform it. I've never performed it before. Like I'm starting off in Seattle next week. I've never been to Seattle before. You know what I'm saying? So that's new. When I'm in the Midwest, I get to perform in, I perform in the suburbs of Detroit, but I've never performed in Detroit proper. So that's my first time. And I really want to take this album Black Love to a black city. So I'm really excited about that. I'll be in Brooklyn on Juneteenth. It was a situation where I hit the promoter up. I hit the promoter up, and somebody else had kind of introduced us, and he was like, "Hey man, the lineup is kind of full." I said, "Well, hey, look, while I got your attention, listen to the album." He heard the album. He was like, "Yo, all right, I can make 15 to 20 minutes for you." And if you look, I'm like the first on the bill. You know what I'm saying? And so like, as a country boy, it's always good. You know what I'm saying, to get come to New York City and do your thing, and then Boston, man. And I think me coming to Boston for the first time is indicative of what I'm talking about as far as like the Most High making the way. So like my best market is New England. So we're talking Rhode Island, Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, and I've been doing that since 2017, right? Barring the pandemic years, you know what I'm saying? So 21 and 22, I didn't go up there, but pretty much every summer since 2017, I've been doing, say those 4 states, right? I never played Massachusetts, you know what I'm saying? But here I am at the ripe age of 42. All the time that I put in building a fan base in these small markets. See, a lot of rappers, they only want to go to New York City and LA and Chicago and Atlanta. They don't, you know what I'm saying? But for me, my mentor Cesar Kamenchi says, rap where your fans are. Build relationships where the culture is, you know what I'm saying? And so like it was me building my name up in those New England states, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island for nearly a decade. So now when I finally reach out to somebody in Boston, about booking the show, I'm able to do it. And I think like that has been, in terms of this tour, like that's what is being manifested. Is all the time, I spent 20 years down south. So down south is home for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, Tennessee, you know what I'm saying? Alabama, like the Texas, like that's home for me, right? But it took me years of grinding that out to where I can make that phone call, right? I'm doing the same thing in the Midwest, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been playing in Indiana since 2018, 19. You know what I'm saying? And so just consistently doing it. Now that's opening up stuff in Ohio. Now that's opening up stuff in different places, or whatever. So I think that's just what it's been, man. Just like I said, doing right by the culture, doing right by the people, making sure that not only do I give it my all every time I get on stage, but like I'm a professional. I'm showing respect to every city that I go to. Like every city I go to, I try to come in rocking a fitty cap from that city. You know what I'm saying? I try to dress in the colorway of whatever the teams are. You know what I'm saying? To show that love. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But building those connections and like really tapping in with like working class people who really, really love the culture, doing that for so long, it's been a great blessing to me. And like when next to performing, one of my favorite things to do is absolutely tap in with the soil, actually meet the people, eat the food, go to the local spots, go shoe shopping. You know what I'm saying? I want to know the lingo, I want to hear the slang, I want to hear, whoever the hottest rapper is in this particular neighborhood, in this particular community, I want to meet them. Whoever the biggest fan of this type of music is, whoever the coolest bartender is, I want to get a shot with them, right? And so, like, just really doing it for the culture, man. And like I said, it's really been a blessing, and that's what and that's what touring is for me.
Yeah, and I love that because you get deeply ingrained in that city that way, and overall, that's great. Marketing and promotion, even for yourself. Like you just mentioned earlier, now you get to link in person with someone that wanted to work with you.
Absolutely,
and you get the best chemistry that way.
Yeah, man, it's like I'm trying to, something I'm doing different this year is that, like, if I have an off day, if I have a little bit of voice left, hey man, if you got a podcast, if you got a radio show, let's do an interview. If you got a studio and you want to get 16, boom. If you want to, whatever I got to do to make sure that, like, because it's like, of course, I do things because I want to make sure I maintain a level of longevity, but I really truly believe in the culture of hip hop. And we can't expect people who are only here to exploit the culture to do right by us. So we got to do right by us, right? And so when I'm there, like, I really love hip hop, as you know what I'm saying, as a discipline, as I'm blessed to be able to teach hip hop studies, right? To be a hip hop educator. So I really love hip hop, and so I want to be able to engage it, and that's important that we really engage it for real. And it's beyond trying to sell merchandise or rap and make yourself look cool on stage, which I'm gonna do either way. But it's really about engaging this culture that we love, because for people for casuals, there's not a lot of incentive to be hip hop. And so it's for us in the culture, no matter what age, race, gender, whatever, no matter what, it's important for us. We have an opportunity to really truly engage the art form, engage the people. We got to do so.
And speaking of proper engagement, as far as when you do visit these cities, do you because like you said, you want to learn more about the city. So how active can you be as far as with what's going on in the community, and at the same time, making sure you balance your time out to be prepared for the shows and also link up with other artists as well?
It honestly really depends. So of course, like in the southern states, when I was down there, I spent a lot of time down there, so I got pretty comfortable. I can kind of move around, you know what I'm saying, a little bit more comfortably, what have you. And like, hey, parlay a little bit. Hey, we might go to a bar after the show, or the next day I might link up with the homies. I like sneakers. I like 50 caps, right? You know what I'm saying? Go hang out, whatever. Go get some food. It honestly, it really depends on how long the travel to the next show is, right?
Okay.
So if it's an hour away, I got a little more time to parlay. But if I got to get in the car, make a 5 or 6 hour drive, I can't really do like I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And the older that I get, the more rest that I need. You know what I'm saying? But definitely on these off days, like one thing I'm about to start doing this particular year is like utilizing hip hop education, you know what I'm saying, along with me performing, right? So for instance, in Jackson, Mississippi, I'm gonna do a small performance, but before that, I'm gonna do a panel. I'm linking up with a local organization, and I'm doing a panel about like independent touring, right? But I also, because I'm a hip hop educator, and I'm the only person in the city of Tulsa with the hip hop studies curriculum that I created myself. So I got slides and PowerPoints upon or Google Slides rather. I got lessons or whatever. So if I have an off day and I have time, I want to be able to go to like a community center after school program, blah 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 blah, or maybe even come do a lecture in somebody's classroom. Beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So those are different ways that what I'm saying, because I'm a son of a not only a gospel musician but a juvenile probation officer and a social worker. So like working with the youth, working with young people, and I'm a career youth worker. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm an educator, but That's my main focus. You know what I'm saying? They say it's easy to build strong adults than heal broken men.
Yeah.
Oh no, what's that? My computer? Okay.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, okay. It went black for me. Let me put my charger. I don't know why I was doing that. You know what I'm saying? So you know, like making sure I'm able to tap in with the youth, and you know, like I make, like I say, I make music. I say I make conscious rap for gang members, whatever, but for young people, because it was Dead Prez who really touched my soul, and like at a certain time when, you know what I'm saying, my feet started tipping toward the streets a little bit and start, you know what I'm saying, started making some bad decisions. It was Dead Prez who like kind of like really introduced me to consciousness in a way that I never heard before. And like, you know, and made me, you know what I'm saying, like once I kind of understood that like a lot of the negative things that are out here in traps for young men are traps. It's not the cool thing to do. Like the coolest thing to do, gang bang, dope, blah, 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 that's really promoted on us. Like once I realized that who the man was, what the system was, and the way it's been applied, I never wanted to be a part of that anymore. But it was so like for me, Dead Presidents Let's Get Free was like the audio version of Malcolm X's autobiography for a lot of young black men. Like the first time I heard about socialism and Fred Hampton was from Dead Prez. You understand what I'm saying? And so for me, that's what I've always wanted to do as an artist. It's like I want to be able to, you know, just that one dude might be in this game, be in this room playing the game or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, he might hear something that I say, or she might hear something that I say, that might make them want to read something, that might make them want to think a little differently about their life or whatever. And so to be able to do that on the microphone and do that with some PowerPoint slides or do that from behind the podium, you know what I'm saying, whatever, that's always kind of been my life mission.
Indeed. And when I listen to you in your music and also when you speak, because I know you've spoken about your father often, you can tell the lineage of being a speaker, being that master of ceremony in your own perspective ways, and also, you know, being about the consciousness of our people as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I'm you know, like I said, just a lot of educators, a lot of youth workers, a lot of deacons, a lot of preachers. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Just you know, and you know, you know, when you're young, you're trying to run from your calling, right? When you're young, you don't want to you know what I'm saying? You know, you want to do the cool stuff or whatever, and then sometimes that calling is scary. It's very intimidating, right? But I'm thankful for hip hop. I'm thankful for hip hop for giving me the voice, giving me the confidence, giving me the platform. You know what I'm saying, to kind of push me out there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and I think a part of the reason why I've had a level of longevity and a lot of the successes that I've had is because I've stayed true to that. I've stayed true to that particular calling as far
that
as
type
like,
of energy, people.
That type of energy, man. You know, stay true to, you know what I'm saying, what I feel like the Most High has for me, you know what I'm saying, in terms of a path and a way to move, and to staying straight and true to hip hop, man, staying true to the four elements, staying true to the you know, to black music, to that black voice, to the, you know what I'm saying, to the griot tradition, African traditions. Like staying true to that, man, is really taking care of me.
Definitely does. With the new album, Black Love, tell us the significance and the motivation that came with D'Angelo in the film Sinners.
Man, so I've told the story a couple different times. So like, Black Love is a love letter to everything that makes me black, right? As far as the album, as far as the song, it's like October or whatever, and I'm riding in the car. No, I wasn't in the car. I was in you know, on Fridays or whatever, when I'm letting my students do makeup work. I always have a playlist going on in the background. I'm grading papers. They doing the independent work, and I got my R&B list on, and Lady comes on, and I realized there's like a 90-second break where there's no singing, just instrumentation. I said, man, that would be dope to rap over. Like, has anybody really rapped over D'Angelo? You know what I'm saying? Because D'Angelo is absolutely hip hop. Like, DJs need to play Devil's Power more. That song is incredible. Like premiere went crazy, and whatever, it's whatever. But so I'm listening to this record, I'm just like, man, this is really dope. And so like I literally screenshot like the part of the song, as far as like the minute mark on the song, and I sent it to my producer. He sends it back to me. I look at it. He sends me an early draft of the beat, right? I look at it. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then not 2 hours later, it comes across all the timelines that D'Angelo transition. I'm like, yo, what is going on? What is going on? And so, like, I'm not no famous rapper, blah, blah, blah. But one thing ain't nobody about to do is say I'm trying to like take advantage of somebody's death, right? So, because I already had another song that was produced by D'Angelo that I was going to use for the album, but I ended up not doing it for this particular album. So I was like, man, I don't want to do it. So then the D'Angelo tributes are coming on, you know what I'm saying, all the stuff or whatever. And I saw a clip of him performing in church as a kid. Now, like I said, I'm a son of a gospel musician. And so, like, I never, I was, my daddy was a quartet singer. He also a solo musician as well. But I never performed in church with my father when he was on the road. But I absolutely, like, saw, dudes who looked like they could have been in the streets singing behind the piano. And when I saw D'Angelo do that, it really hit me. Oh, he's a church kid just like me. He's Pentecostal, you know what I'm saying? I'm missionary Baptist, you know what I'm saying? But he's a church kid just like me. So then I watched a documentary, The Making of Black Messiah. I was like, oh my God. Like, just like his love for like Walter Hawkins and some Slim and Supreme Angels and, all these quartet groups that my father used to love, you know what I'm saying? And just that was it. It hit me like he's a church kid, right? And so then I watched Sinners, man. And just that scene, I lied to you or whatever. That scene when they performing and it shows like all the different genres and it touched me. When I'm saying I'm crying in the movie theater, you know what I'm saying? It's like it touched me. And so I go back, I get in the car, I hear that beat, I'm like, okay, so this is what's gonna happen, right? And I'm going to try to make sure that, like, it's definitely sampling D'Angelo, but I want to pay proper homage, but I want to make it as much as my own, so people don't think that I'm just trying to like capitalize off of this. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And in my personal opinion, it's the best song I've ever created in my life. Like, I love it. Like, it's one of them joints to when, 100 years from now at my funeral, you know what I'm saying? I want you to play this at my repast. This is the song. I feel like just the narrative that I have on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of the album because almost all the hooks that are sung, I wrote every one besides mine. I mean, it's besides one song, but I wrote the hook for Black Love, and Sister Imani killed it. Jay Philly, man, when so we have a version of it when I'm singing it, and then he adds something to it, and then he sends it back to me. And he adds like the gospel choir thing at the end. Like, that wasn't planned. He just he said he was moved. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, rest in peace to D'Angelo, Michael Archer, you know what I'm saying? One of the greatest black musicians, definitely of the hip hop generation, you know what I'm saying? But of all time, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to like making real black music, one of the a pure genius, you know what I'm saying? And hey, man, shout out to Michael B. Jordan, you know what I'm saying? Oscar winner, Ryan Coogler, for making an incredible movie that, that's very, very inspiring.
Yeah. Now, I want to touch on that part in the film that you were talking about when it went through different genres. I don't think I've ever seen that in the film. And it wasn't just about seeing it. It was the whole breakdown of it while it was going on, which was, just beautiful.
Yeah, man, it was I mean, it goes along to what it matched perfectly to what I've always understood and what I've always taught as an educator. You know what I'm saying? I say on the song, I say black music is God's music, but like all this is African. All of this comes from, you know what I'm saying, enslaved Africans in America, and all these different genres. You know what I'm saying, from blues to rock to jazz to funk to soul. It's all comes from it specifically. It comes from poor working class people. It comes from a level of struggle and pain, and it was creates so much beauty. You know what I'm saying? And then like I said, it has the different, you know what I'm saying, influences as well. You know what I'm saying? But African people walked this earth first, and we tapped in with everybody. We tapped in with Japanese and Chinese. You know what I'm saying? So we did that. You know what I'm saying? And because we God's people or whatever. So, but the way he did it, man, it was just so dope. And like one thing I loved about it was, you know what I'm saying, with Kugler being from, you know what I'm saying, Oakland, you know what I'm saying, pretty much all the black folks from Oakland, their family come from the deep south. And I love that they showed crunk music. They didn't put boom bap. Of course they had the DJs or whatever, but they didn't have boom bap, right? They had crunk music. They had, you know what I'm saying, they had bounce music. You had they had Texas stuff in there too, because like, I get real defensive of Southerners. You know what I'm saying? Southerners, period, but especially when it comes to hip hop, because black people have different accents, and our accents are articulated in the music. And so I get and I say this as a Southerner who had to fight to get respect on the East Coast. Trying to book shows, you know what I'm saying, on the East Coast. When I'm sending out my press kit, it says currently living in Louisiana but born in Oklahoma. I had to go out there and you know what I'm saying. You see these things, right?
Yeah.
And it's like and it's like the Seven, you wild, bro. Seven in the comments cutting up, making me laugh. But I ain't never been to Connecticut though. Shout out to Connecticut. But it's like the genius, the genius in that it takes to, you're taking this art form that no doubt has its birthplace in New York, but you're making it your own because you're not trying to sound like nobody else. You're being as original as possible. It's representative of the instruments that you have access to. It's representative of the way that you have to be transported through the city. It's representative of the foods that you eat. The accents, like that is hip hop. That is black culture. And so, like a lot of the anti-Southern stuff is anti-black to me. And as a black Southerner, hip hop head, and as a hip hopper, that really bothers me, right? And so I really appreciated that, like. He showed all these different genres of black music based in the Deep South.
Yeah.
And showed the beauty and the genius of it and showed where it came from. You understand what I'm saying? And so that was really, really important to me. I try to represent that, you know what I'm saying, as an artist. You know what I'm saying? I try to represent, of course, you know what I'm saying, I like Lil Boosie because I lived in Baton Rouge for 20 years, but from the same neighborhood comes H. Rap Brown. I love Lil Wayne, but from the same city comes Tookie Williams, who, for better or worse, is one of the greatest black leaders of all time. Now, he did it, Crips is, you know what I'm saying, the Crips is, they definitely, contributed to a lot of harm to the black community, but he was a powerful organizer and leader that if the government ain't do this, then we would be something completely different. You understand what I'm saying? Also from Mississippi, you got David Banner, you know what I'm saying? And you got Medgar Evers. You got Future and you got Outkast. And you got Martin Luther King Jr. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we've produced these, you know what I'm saying, Assata Shakur, Afeni Shakur from Born in the South. You know what I'm saying? Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we contributed so much. And so like when we get painted into this corner as ignorant and slow and blah, 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 because we sound different or because our culture is different, I don't like that. And so as a Southern hip hop artist, educated, I try to make sure I represent that while at the same time staying true to my working class folks who might not have the same opportunities as I do. So I try to speak in that language. Like my DJ was saying how, like, he said he feels like, he's like, man, after riding with you and talking to you, he said, I feel like you, I feel like you, your music, like you speaking your music, like you don't use the same big words in your music as you do, you know what I'm saying, when you're talking.
Okay.
Cause I'm talking to street niggas. I'm talking it. I'm a proletariat. I'm talking the way the people talk. I speak in the accent of the people, right? And so my job is to take this information and take this experience and take these philosophies, you know what I'm saying, and articulate it to where the common working class brother sister can understand it. You know what I'm saying? And I think my ability to do that mixed with like the passion and tension really connects with people in a real way. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if I gotta talk it like a barbershop talking, I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? If I gotta get intellectual, I'm gonna do either way because I can do both. Because where I come from, my people have done that since the beginning.
And this is where a lot of people have to still give a lot of love to the South, because when it comes to the word independent, I feel like that's where it really started at, as far as music. And even to this day, y'all still got it that way. And if anybody else in another region still doesn't acknowledge that and absolutely see themselves doing the same thing, I mean, I grew up in New York City, but I've seen it when I visited Mississippi, Georgia, the Carolinas. Y'all still be pushing the same way.
And see, this is what people don't understand. Like the South, what is considered the South, you know, beneath the Mason-Dixon, is 13 different states. We're not just confined to like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying, it's 13 different states. And so from Virginia to Texas is not the same. From Florida to Kentucky is not the same. From Oklahoma to Louisiana is not the same. From Mississippi to North Carolina is not the same, right? And so there's so many different flavors. There's so many different histories. There's so many different accents or whatever. And then you have those, you know, like, and then you have, you know, if one of the reasons why a Master P or a Cash Money, they didn't really need New York acceptance because they took over 13 states.
Yep.
And you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, you know, it's like we took over 13 states. You know what I'm saying? Nearly a third of the whole country. So therefore it's like we don't need, like, they need us. We don't like I did a podcast interview when I interviewed Mickey Fax, and he was talking about like, yeah, I had to come get with Alfred Banks in New Orleans to learn how to be an independent artist, because a lot of New Yorkers, they just grow up going to the buildings. You grow up going to, you know what I'm saying, to Jive or whatever. You know, I don't even know what labels is in New York City anymore because everybody moved to Atlanta. But you know what I'm saying. But you know, like they went to the buildings, you know what I'm saying, to try to get deals. I've never tried to get a deal. I don't even know how to get a deal, and I have no interest in doing so. I've always been direct to consumer, direct to the people, and it's allowed me. Like I'm performing in was it 16 different states in like, you know, about 6 weeks.
Yep.
Time frame, you know what I'm saying? All by myself. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I you know what I'm saying, selling all my merch, doing everything myself, print up everything independently, you know what I'm saying, and saying what the hell I want to say, when I want to say, how I want to say it, right? And so it's like we you know, and I gotta give props to the West Coast, you know what I'm saying? It was E40's Uncle St. Charles who taught Master P, when Master P lived in Richmond, California, how they did the independent. He gave the blueprint, and then P took it and brought it back down south. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you know, Miami had their own version of it, you know what I'm saying? Atlanta had their own version of it, or whatever. But the independent model, the straight out the truck model that we use the most now, comes from, you know what I'm saying, pretty much what Master P learned from, you know what I'm saying, Uncle St. Charles in the Bay Area, whatever, in Richmond, Oakland area, whatever. But yeah, man, so it's like, you know, I love that independence. I love being able to say what I want to say, when I want to say, how I want to say it. If I want to push my album back, if I want to drop it or whatever, do it at my own thing or whatever. And it's like there's nobody whitewashing anything I'm gonna say. Like I've never had to call a woman out of her name. I've never had to, you know what I'm saying, do anything outside my morals, you know what I'm saying, or values. And I've always been able to be myself. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
And this is a true example of a person that overall understands the business without being in the major business.
100%.
And look at your success.
Yeah, man. You know, it's been a blessing, man. It's been a blessing. My thunder getting waxed over here. Lord have mercy. It's not good. It's not good.
Oh boy.
So I know you in New York. Do y'all want to see us? Or y'all want to see the Spurs? Who y'all want to see in the finals? Who would y'all rather see?
I think it's 50-50, but me, I'm still leaning towards OKC.
I think we'll get Game 7. I know. Yes, I know. We talking basketball, so I know. I saw that Mitchell Robinson. You know what I'm saying? He got Louisiana roots. I see he's out because he broke his thumb or whatever. So that's one big man down. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying to guard Whitby. So y'all might want to see us instead because that dude is an alien for real. But so let me ask you this. Besides Black Love, okay, so like, and I'm very curious about this. Whatever, like. What was some of the like standout moments to you? You know what I'm saying from the album?
From Black Love?
Yeah.
I gotta say, your for track 2, Mr. Williams, how you presented it to the listener. You know, you made it feel like I want to be Mr. Williams.
Okay. Yeah, my so yesterday was the last day of school out here, whatever, and didn't nobody come to school, you know, because we had graduation on Saturday. So I teach most of the seniors, so when am I coming back to school, right? But I was able to interview a couple of my students, just because I want to hear what they think about me as a teacher, and so it was very interesting. I'm gonna put some of them clips out this week or whatever, but that's cool. I mean, and I played it like I actually, it was one of the Fridays we had nothing to do, and so I played the album for my students, and like I had them do like a in-class assignment on it, and I was very, very, very pleased and humbled about their perception, because they don't. One thing that I really learned being a hip-hop educator is that young people like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they don't see hip-hop like we do at all. They see it completely different, and I'm not even mad at them. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? To them, music is background noise for the most part. Like this is a generation to, like, I was one of the last generations probably, going to elementary school, you know what I'm saying, in the late 80s, early 90s, that actually had like music in the schools. Like, you know what I'm saying? So this generation, music been took out of schools, but this generation is all Chromebooks and tablets and phones.
Yep.
And so like they can't appreciate a chord change. They can't appreciate a harmony. Like to them, music is just something that happens in the background of a reel. So if you ask them who their favorite artist is, a lot of them can't really tell you. A lot of them have never heard a full, complete album before. Like I don't expect them to buy CDs, but if you ask them what the favorite album is, they can't tell you. Like, like what kind of production do you like or whatever, what style do you like? They don't know the difference between, like, for me, I grew up on, what I'm saying, XXL magazines and Blaze. Like I was that dude in high school, and I was that dude that like every single month I carried a XXL and a Source magazine in my bag.
Source, okay.
And I read it. I read everything from top to bottom. So like I was the guy that people would come to settle their arguments with. So I remember one time there was an argument in the lunch before me. What was Method Man's real name? They was thinking that Method Man's real name was Johnny Blaze. Now we gonna go find Brian. We're gonna go find Brian. He gonna know the answer. You know what I'm saying? And so they skipped class to come to second lunch to find me. And they asked me, I was like, hey, what's Method Man's real name? And it just so happened that he was in this particular month's issue.
Oh man.
I'm like, his name was Clifford Smith. Oh, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I was that guy. You know what I'm saying? So like I wanted to know every single thing about rappers, every single thing, you know what I'm saying, how they really thought, before social media where everything was trying to say a particular lifestyle, like you could read an article about somebody and really get like kind of how they really thinking, and not just like I'm trying to show you the glitz and glamour. And so there's not a connection to artists like that anymore. And you would think, because like if a rapper likes NBA Youngboy, they can look right now and see what NBA Youngboy's eating for dinner. But they don't know his real name. They don't know where he's from. They don't know, because they don't care about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They care about the image or whatever. So it's like a big disconnect. And so it made me think a lot about like messaging in the music. It made me think about like, as far as like, you know what I'm saying? Like how can I get my students to pay attention? How can I get them to pay attention? How can I, as I'm teaching it, what's going to interest them to make them, you know what I'm saying, stop looking at, you know what I'm saying, Instagram when they're not supposed to be looking at it, and listen to what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What are they interested in? And so they look at it completely different. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing being African American studies teacher, right? How can I make this relevant to young people? How can I make what Fred Hampton said in 1965 or 1968 connect with them in 2026?
Yep.
Because to a lot of young people now, they think racism is over. They think racism is over because this streamer works with this black streamer works with this white streamer. You know what I'm saying? Or they might see a rapper that they like and there's white people in the crowd. And so like, yes, and to them, you know, like a lot of my students was born 2009, 2010. So anything before like to them, 1932 and 1998 are the same thing. And so how can I make something happen? How can I make something happen back then, make it relevant to them? You know what I'm saying? Yep. So, you know, and I feel like I've been successful with doing that. And, you know, I kind of wanted to bring that. And because you know, with Mr. Williams, it's all about relationships. You'd be surprised how crazy you can talk to the worst student in the class if he knows that you respect him or her. How you can put him to the side, like, come on, get your ass. Let me tell you something, brother. But if you ain't got no relationship with them, and they don't think that you have their best interest in mind, they're not gonna listen to you.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of students who, like some of my co-teachers were really surprised because, like, so we'd be having a meeting, you know, so during my planning period, and there would be a line of students coming to give me their work because they didn't get it done in class. It's like, wait, kids leave another class to bring you their assignments because they get it, like, what?
Listen.
but what it is like now with these students now, a lot of them, if they don't like you, they're not going to do your work. Like for them to want to learn from you, they have to like you and respect you and see that you respect them. And so, you know, like I say, so yeah, man.
That's one of the things about what's great about you is being with the youth. You see and hear, you know, how they react, what they listen to, what they talk, how they talk. And, you know, it's the same thing with having two sons. I get to see the different depths of their thinking, you know, what they enjoy as well. And I'm definitely grateful again for that diverse amount of music that they heard and continue to hear at home and in other family homes, because it's definitely helped with their palette of music as well.
Absolutely, man. That's dope, man. I got a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old, so I'm always I'm putting them up on stuff, and they put me up on stuff. And it's different now because, like, when I was growing up, you know what I'm saying, both my parents heavy in the church, so they didn't really play any secular music besides like Jackson 5 and Michael Jackson. And it was so when I rode in the car with my parents, it was Jackson 5, Michael Jackson, or gospel music, quartet music, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I had to sneak it kind of like find hip hop, because I grew up in Arma, Oklahoma, bro. It's not a lot of hip hop there. And so it was Rap City, it was Young TV Raps, 106 and Park later, and it was whatever magazines. I grew up in a hometown that didn't have a black radio station, hip hop radio station. So like 100 miles away was Oklahoma City, to the north and to the south it was Dallas. And so, you know, so we didn't have an urban radio station at all. So like, and then the only one from Dallas, they play oldies, which was cool. I got my musical palette from them. So as far as hip hop goes, it was me having to sneak to go to the CD store, buy CDs or get the magazines and things of that nature. But I was greatly influenced by what my parents played in the car. Now, your children have phones and headphones, that they keep in at all times. So it's like, so you know, like when my children, before they had phones, you know, they listen to Little Brother, they listen to Quali, they listen to Black Star, and they have an appreciation for it. But my daughter's favorite rapper is Tyler, the Creator, and I've never played his music in my car. But she's been able to, so she's a good mixture of like, and she has really good taste, even though she don't like, you know, she doesn't, the older stuff, unless I play it for her, she doesn't know it, but she can appreciate it because I've been exposing her to that or whatever. But a lot of kids, it's a lot of kids like, man, play your children the oldies. Play your children the oldies. Play like, I ain't gonna lie, since the Michael Jackson movie dropped, I've had a lot of kids ask me to play Michael Jackson in school, which makes me feel great because I love Michael Jackson.
I love that.
Yep. I love, you know what I'm saying? Like, they coming in, like, I had one student, he listened to NBA YoungBoy every single day. I'm like, if he come in with his headphones on, I said, hey man, what you listening to? What you got the young boy? He's man, it's not Michael Jackson, man. That Dirty Diana, because NBA young boy redid Dirty Diana called Dirty Ayana, talk about one of his baby mamas. Yeah. And so he was introduced to Michael Jackson to NBA young boy. So he listened to Dirty Diana, like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. That's dope. That's that. Dope.
You know what?
So yeah, just so just trying to like, making space for kids in the culture. Like cause my thing is this, like, I don't expect a 20-year-old to rap like Run DMC. That doesn't make any sense to do that.
I understand, yeah.
But what I try to do as a teacher and as a facilitator, as an elder statesman, like hip hop communities, I try to teach younger artists the culture. So because I want you to sound like straight up and down, like it's 2026. I love the classics, but Biggie been dead for 30 years. Pac been dead for 30 years, man. It's so much dope hip hop in real time that's being made.
Very true. Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? It's so I want my grandchildren to hear, like, they should, like I said, if it's cool, they should listen to Biggie and Pac in 2052, whatever. But who is the 2052 Biggie and Pac? And the only way we get those people is if we teach the culture. We make them understand the history and the culture, so like they can keep that cultural attention as it evolves. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and that's what my mantra is: culture of everything.
And I like what you spoke about with your students, because a lot of them, if they hear one of those samples, the first automatic thing is, no, that can't, they bite and they copied it. But to hear you tell that story of a young man in your class, knowing it was Michael Jackson, that's that little piece of history can go a long way, and it's good to hear stories like that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Another favorite track of mine on Black Love is Pump Up the Volume. You gave that energy that hopefully if I see you in Brooklyn when you perform this summer in New York, I get to see that track be performed, because I feel like that type of energy, and that works perfect with the stage presence for those that know you and are not too familiar with your music, to get pique interest after your performance to hear more.
That's probably next to Black Love. Well, I'm saying that song is the most ambitious song on the album. So Jay Philly and I love New Jack Swing. And New Jack Swing is funk, is hip. I mean, it's hip hop, it's soul, it's R&B. You know what I'm saying? Look, sometimes a little slight pop possibilities, gospel. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I love Teddy Riley for New Jack Swing. I love the whole era. I could do I love it, right? And so, I wanted to do something similar to New Jack Swing, and so we called it Soul Bop, right? And so it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's an amalgamation of all these different types of Black music, or what have you. And so if you notice, like, a lot of the songs are like they're like two different types of styles, or whatever, a few different types of styles. So if we look at Mr. Williams, right, that's a Marvin Gaye sample, but I'm interpolating Wu-Tang Clan. Kick the truth to the young Black youth. If you look at Still Working, you know what I'm saying, I'm interpolating. I turned CeCe Peniston's, quote unquote dance pop record, Keep on Walking, into a hip hop beat. You know what I'm saying? If you look at Ghetto, you know what I'm saying, that is LL Cool J and Monica, right? So when we get to Pump Up the Volume, you know what I'm saying, I was, so a lot of these songs, Jay Philly, he's from Chicago, he lives in Oklahoma City, but we still email our tracks with with constant communication. And I'm listening to Milli Vanilli, Girl You Know It's True. I'm like, man, this song, I like, people like, yeah, that was lip syncing, but this song really is a bop though. It really do hit, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does.
That drum breakdown, and that drum breakdown is the same drum breakdown as Pump Up. I mean, is Paid in Full. Don't. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. So I was okay. I want to do something with that, and so I know I want to mix the Milli Vanilli, you know what I'm saying, sample, and I want to throw some Rakim in there, right? So pump up the volume, you know, from Paid in Full, right? And then I was watching a show on YouTube from not Rico Wade, Ray Murray was DJing the show in Atlanta from, you know, one of the architects of, you know, the Dungeon family, you know, one of the producers of Organized Noise. He was DJing the show and he was playing all these different samples that he used in his production. And so he plays the sample from Skew It on the Barbie, and the crowd don't recognize it at first. But then he gets up there, old school players and new school fools, and the crowd goes crazy. Oh man, because I couldn't think of a hook for Pump. I couldn't think of a hook for it. I said, okay, boom. I said, okay, well, I'm gonna put my spin on it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Put my version of this Skin on the Barbie. So now, if you think about it, we have an international pop record with Milli Vanilli's "Girl You Know It's True," and then I'm referencing. I'm starting off with the cadence of Rakim. I feel like Paid in Full is the greatest one verse song of all time. It's not close. It's not close. When it comes to a one verse song, I don't even think that was 32 bars. I think it might be 24 bars, right? But when it comes to a one, you know, the dance version is like 10 minutes, but the actual verse is no longer the 32 bars, right? The greatest one verse song, whatever. So now I got the international dance pop song here, you know what I'm saying, for some French and whatever dudes, and then I got you know what I'm saying, the God MC Rakim. I was able to open for him a couple summers ago in St. Louis. That was cool. Now I'm adding Outkast to it with the hook, and then the song ends with a New Orleans bounce beat to pay homage to my South Louisiana influences, right? And it's like, you know what, man? Like, I'm a backpacker. I love backpacker rap or whatever. But man, I be going to these underground shows, bro. Like, it don't be no women there. It's stale. Everybody trying to front. We gotta get back to having a good time.
Good time. Yep, that's it.
We gotta go back to dancing. Like you're a little bit older than me. I know you used to get busy the kid and play back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was, you know, oh wow, that was the joints. So you know what I'm saying? Like, and so it's like, man, I want to get back. You know, I love, you know, some of my backpacker, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. I don't care about that. You know, and then because the thing about it, like so much of the music is like, you know, and I'm a conscious rapper, so a lot of my music is heavy as well, right? But like some of, like, sometimes like Black joy is also revolutionary, especially in the midst of struggle, in the midst of attack. And so I really want to get back to like the dance floor. I really want to get back to just having a good time or whatever. So and like my favorite party music is bounce music, and so I had to turn this super duper hip hop record into like a bounce record at the end or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So like, Pump Up the Vibe, man. I love that record. It's like it's gonna take me. I'm a little late getting my show tracks, so it's gonna take me some time to memorize it. But since you said that, I'm going to make sure I have that in my set by the time I get to Brooklyn. So I got less than a month, whatever. But I'm gonna make sure I got that memorized. You know what I'm saying? Because I love that record.
That's dope. That's dope. I want to go back to you being the educator, because it's very important to have a black man, you know, more black men in the education of our children. So how often do you come across others like yourself in the education system?
I ain't never had a teacher like me. I try to be teacher. So growing up in Auburn, Oklahoma, man, my hometown, 25,000 people, 11% black. So we talking barely 1,500 niggas in the whole town. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of black folks, right? My whole life, well, until I went to HBCU, I might have had 2 black male teachers and 2 black female. I had sixth grade. I had a black history teacher. He's a pastor. And then I had a black science teacher. And then middle school, I had my godmother was a teacher. And then my junior high school, I had a black history teacher. You know what I'm saying? So that was my whole life. So I was always taught by older white women who really probably don't even like black people. You know what I'm saying? And the coaches only really tolerated us because they wanted us to run the shoot for them. You know what I'm saying? So, but I've no, and when I went to HBCU, I definitely had, you know what I'm saying, black professors, blah, 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 blah. And the one I connected to the most was Dr. Fervin, because, he's probably about a decade older, but he was a hip hop dude. And so, like, the way he taught was hip hop. I love Dr. Comedy. I love, all my other, elders, but me and Dr. Fervin, because he was a hip hop dude. So when I'm in my early 20s, he's in his early 30s. And so he used to come to my shows and stuff like that. But he and I connected because he talked like an MC. And so it's like, for me, like, and so for me, like, I look at what I do as an MC and as an educator as an extension of activism. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a conscious rapper who gets to teach African American studies and hip hop studies. Perfect, right?
Perfect, yeah.
And so I come every single day along. Where's it at? Try to find it. I can't find it. Here it is. Along with my teacher badge. You know what I'm saying? You probably can't see it. Every day I got my Malcolm X in this on every single day. You know what I'm saying? I got my hair, I got Jordans, I got the blonde tips on my hair, I got the Jordans on, I got the Polo Lacoste on, whatever. Yesterday I had my Tupac shirt on, you know what I'm saying, whatever. So like every day, and what I'm trying to do is, it's important, like, I'm still on, but it's important to me that I talk to these young people in a language that they understand, and I look like somebody who come from where they come from.
Yeah.
And I can relate to them on a real level. If I gotta get super duper technical, or if I gotta keep it street, you know what I'm saying, or I gotta use that lingo or slang, shout out to my children for keeping me up on the latest slang or whatever. But it's really important, you know what I'm saying, that, like, I can relate to them on it. I remember one day I was using some I wasn't serious, you know what I'm saying. I was using like in 1955. That was like, Mr. Williams, man, you got to say that in any body so I can understand it. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, look, man, back then you heard me. They was like, but it was important, and they did good on their grades, right? See? But so it's important to me to, like, cut through, and then and so with that said, like, this is Oklahoma, bro. Like people see Black Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still not that many black people in Tulsa. You got Black Wall Street, no doubt or whatever, but that's all pretty much, you know what I'm saying, designated to, like, one particular side of town. It's still Oklahoma. It's still 15 in education. It's still, like, and so it's still red as hell as far as, like, voting. Super, you know what I'm saying? And so you definitely, the majority of black male teachers you have in schools out here specifically are coaches. And I hate being called a coach. That's why I said on the song, don't call me coach.
Culture.
You know what I'm saying? Don't call me coach, because you only saying it because I'm big and black. I ain't been on nobody's sideline.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I actually went to school, got my degree in history. You know what I'm saying? I'm a legit scholar, right? You know what I'm saying? And so like, I'm not just teaching history so I can get a coaching stipend. I'm legit the social studies department lead. You know what I'm saying? I actually have a degree in what I'm teaching or whatever. And so, like, nah, like, don't. So this ain't that. Like, yes, my class is an elective, but we come in here to work. This ain't no Mickey Mouse class. This ain't no class where we can just do whatever and pass. Like, no, we doing tests, we doing quizzes, we doing 5 assignments a week, baby. We cooking in here, because I tell my students, like, yes, the content is important, but most importantly, I'm trying to give y'all game on what it's like to be black in America, because I teach mostly seniors. Y'all about to graduate. Y'all about to be 18, and some of y'all been looking grown since y'all was 12. See? And so once you walk out these hallways, they gonna see you as another black man or woman as opposed to a student. And so you need to know about these laws and the way they did it. You need to know about the prison industrial complex and the school to prison pipeline and the war on drugs. You need to learn about the way they're trying to appeal the 14th Amendment and blah, 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 because it's going to affect you. And so for me, it's like, yes, I want you to get good grades, but most importantly, I want you to be able to take this game I'm giving you in a real nigga fashion.
Yep. Use that experience to see it before it happens.
See it before it happens, because a lot of them think everything is based on these phones. They think we're on TikTok and it's real. Like, it's real life out there. You got real consequences for your actions. Yep. I said the only place where you can go twerk all day and shoot people and not get pregnant to go to jail is rap songs.
That's it.
In real life, you gonna have a baby. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You have a broken home and Negroes in prison. if you behave this way, whatever. So I want you to be, you know what I'm saying, able to go out here and get you a good job, start your own business, and be a productive citizen without being trapped. You know what I'm saying? And so like that's why I teach, man. That's the real reason why it's important for me to like, you know, be my full self. And I've been in schools where I didn't like it, and I don't care because that's the only way I'm going to teach.
I love that because you know exactly how to reach the children. And I saw Odyssey perform in Brooklyn a few years ago, and you mentioned similar to what you were saying. You know, the trap type music was really big at that time. He said, just because that trap is out there like that doesn't mean it can't be conscious. So he put on a trap beat and spit a ill verse.
I saw him do that in New Orleans. I already know the song you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So back in 2013, and it was funny. Like so I created a project called Trap Hop, which is an acronym for True Rebellion Against Poison, Harm, and Oppressed People. And I can say I was one of the first people on the planet to make a conscious trap project. And I remember like the quote unquote purists was so upset. I'm like, are you listening to what I'm saying? Like I'm saying it probably more preaching than I've ever been preaching. But people get so caught up in like thinking that hip hop is supposed to be one particular way that they miss the hip hop.
Yep.
You so busy thinking they has to have a boom bap beat to be hip hop. Do you not like I'm literally talking like I'm literally making this, you know, like I could have said these exact same things of a boom bap beat, but my students are not gonna listen to that. It's so now I got young boys who, you know what I'm saying, in the club saying these boys ain't trapping, right? These boys just trapped. Like I'm literally making a song, you know, I'm whatever. But now they're chanting like these are that, you know, we're talking about what the trap is for real in ways that they wouldn't did it if I did it over a Pete Rock type beat. Shout out to Pete Rock, right? But the goal is for my music is to actually tap in and like touch people. Like I don't, you know, I'm a church boy, but I'm not here to preach to the choir.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be a you know, take your music outside and really touch the people. You know what I'm saying? Working class people need a soundtrack.
I love that. Definitely. Because what do we do when we out? Listen to music.
Right. We need a soundtrack.
That's what we do.
Soundtrack. We don't live like Rick Ross, man. We don't live like Jay's. We don't live like none of these people. We like it. You know what I'm saying? That's why Fonte my favorite rapper, because he make working class black man music, and I love that, and I relate to it. And we need that, man. We need that.
Yeah. And as I've gotten older and maturing, relatable music is exactly what, you know, truly hits the heart for me.
Mm-hmm.
And even though, you know, I still listen to the older music, I listen to some of the music from the younger artists out there, you know, that relatable type of music just, it hits different.
About a year ago, after Murs dropped his final album, and this has been one of my mentors since like 2022. After he dropped his last album, I'm giving him his flowers, and I don't know if I should say this publicly, but it is what it is. I'm texting, hey man, look, OG, you have no idea how much you inspire me. You know, congratulations on a career well done, blah 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 blah. And one thing he texted me, and I still got it in my phone. He pretty much was like, look, bro, he said, with little brother retiring and with me kind of stepping back, he was like, it's time for people like you to step up. And really feel, and you know, it's like you can step into that voice. This is what Murs told me. Murs to me, top 5 independent hip hop artists of all time. Like when it comes to like what he's been able to accomplish as an independent artist, incredible. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, just as an artist, period. But like what he's been able to do. You know what I'm saying? From like one of the first people to book like Kendrick and Nipsey on festivals, and you know what I'm saying, and you know, touring the world, and he was on Warner Brothers, and you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying, just major label to underground and Tech Nine stuff, right? He told me this. Wow. He was like, you know, with us retiring, he was like, bro, like this is your opportunity to kind of like with the music that when the way you're approaching it is a step into that void, just that working man every day. I'm like, man, and that meant everything to me. And I definitely kept that in mind with Black Love. I definitely kept in mind like you know, as a, you know, like the song Bang This Joint, like, you know, you had a hard working week, you tired, you know what, man, I'm about to holler at my homeboy. We about to, you know, we too old to be out all night, but this one particular night, we're gonna take a nap earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna put our comfortable shoes on and we're gonna go out and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like the monkey been on our back. So I thought about it from that mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, you know, we work really, really hard. Whatever, if we bankers or lawyers or doctors, if we work at the plant, you know what I'm saying? What does it look like when we finally let our hair down and go have a good time? You know what I'm saying? It ain't, you know, I'm not in there making it rain like BMF, but hey, we might have a little fun, we might have like a little bottle, we might, you know, two-step and then go home, take, you know, go to sleep.
That's it. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, just relatable stuff, man.
Human.
We need that, man. So hey, you was telling me about Black Dilemma, like you, because we didn't get to talk about Black Dilemma before. So I'm curious to like what you. I asked a lot of people what was their interpretation of Black Dilemma, and I want to hear how you interpreted it.
My interpretation was, I mean, you do this in all your projects, and it's definitely appreciated, and it's the ability to have the consciousness with your upbringing, your experiences, keeping the positivity without it sounding, you know, pop like. And one thing about this particular album that really struck me was it felt almost like it was one track. I don't know if you just wrote this all at once, but for me, it felt like it was one track, and it had a timeline with it also. And I think it was it the part 2 was the last track, right? The Black Dilemma 2.
Mm-hmm.
With that, the way it ended, I feel like you hit like a certain climax of suspense, like when there's a weekly series that comes out. So now I was like, okay, what's next? Like you put us on a cliffhanger.
You know, so with that, I'm glad you saw the theme. And so the Black Dilemma. So shout out. So it's funny because the last 2 projects that I dropped were produced by producers who I met when I went to Langston University for 1 semester. Right. I pretty much, my grades were so terrible. I went to Louisiana for the first year. My parents sent me to Langston, the HBCU in Langston, and that's where I met David, aka Dilemma. And I met Giovanni, aka J Philly. So something about me working with Langston University producers, it does something for me. But Black Dilemma was a conscious hip hop analysis of conscious hip hop. And so like I wanted to talk about like what it is to be a conscious hip hop artist in this day and time, and some of my experiences, right? So it's like, it's funny how people talk about like hip hop is not political. It's very political. It's just right wing. Cause Trump stay with a rapper.
Yep.
like hip hop is going further and further right, damn near MAGA, and it's disgusting, right? But hip hop is very political. It's just not radical. It's very reactionary. It's very you know, a neoliberal. Some of it's, you know, with Kanye is white supremacists. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so what you're seeing is now hip hop is you know, quote unquote liberal or even radical counterinsurgency is whipping our behinds. Like they're you know, I'm a huge fan of Killer Mike. He was a mentor to me. And, you know, I haven't spoken to him in a while, whatever, but he was somebody who was a mentor to me, like, you know what I'm saying, pretty much throughout the 2010s. I opened for him in 2013. We stayed in pretty good contact, you know what I'm saying? We tweet every now and then, but whatever. But I've watched him go further and further right politically.
Mm-hmm.
And but he's the representation of what radical hip hop is, and his politics are very, very right wing at this point. And it's very frustrating when, because I'm not famous, and not even me, underground rappers, period. That's why I made the record Railroad Underground. But like rappers, period, you know what I'm saying, who fight very hard, who actually are in the community. Like I'm a part of Black Alliance for Peace. I'm a part of Pan African Community Action. I'm a part of the Party for Socialism and Liberation. Right. I'm watching people in my parties or in communities that I'm in, as opposed to supporting myself or Tef Poe or Bamboo or other conscious hip hop artists. What's they called? I can't remember the name of the group, the Hispanic brothers or whatever. But they complaining about the famous people. You have people that are in your communities who are literally like, when I joined the PSL, I said, hey, I want to get the political education so I can put it in my music. That's why when you listen to Black Dilemma, I start off the second verse. I spend the first 8 bars breaking down what socialism is. Mm-hmm. But in a palatable way that don't scare everybody off, right? But people, and I say people with my politics would rather complain about mainstream rap instead of what it is I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm the leader of the railroad movement, and I'm a career conscious hip hop artist. But once I said railroad, people was like, you know all this political stuff that I'm saying? Like you came here, you like I got 99% conscious raps. I got one song about railroad, and that's what I'm known for. So I stand on culture. I stand on culture. I stand on live performance. I believe that live performance is an African, like the way Black people perform live is a weapon, it's an instrument, it's all these other type of things. And I feel like it should be kept sacred, right? But at the same time, it's like that's hip hop and that's cool. But like I'm a conscious rapper. So I want you to hear what I'm saying. And so like I said, Black Dilemma was kind of like me breaking down, like, you know what I'm saying, like what it was to you know what I'm saying, like what it was, dealing with spirituality, dealing with my own personal situations as a conscious hip hop artist, make dope hip hop. Like we get so caught up in numbers that we get so caught up in streams and viral stuff, man. Make dope hip hop. Shout out to Rex. Make dope hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Blessed to have 2 verses from Deacon the Villain, from one of my great, Cunnilingus, my greatest, one of my all-time favorite groups, my top 5 favorite groups for sure, my partner Dollar Black or whatever. But I wanted to talk about, just like the mindset of a conscious hip hop artist being in the underground in real time. As far as the part 2 of the cliffhanger, that verse is like a amalgamation of a couple of different stories to where, like, me being a conscious rapper around some, people who necks are red, it could have went a particular way. And like, that was my way, because, I'm a conscious rapper, but I wasn't political. I wasn't talking about Trump and blah, 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 right? But that was my way to still say F Trump, even though that's not what this project is about. Mm-hmm. But most importantly, it made me think about, like, before the pandemic, when Trump's first term, I had a song called Hallelujah. And like, I would lead the crowd of saying F Donald Trump. And I did this all across the country, from the Deep South, all the way to Vermont, to Indiana, to all across the country, Bay Area, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it went over very well. But now, I've watched rap go so much further right. I'm seeing a bunch of brothers in the barbershop say they like Trump. I'm seeing, I remember back like 2000, maybe 17, 18, Kevin Nottingham, we used to have KevinNottingham.com, Hip-Not, who signed a lot of Black artists. He offered me a deal, and it didn't go through or whatever, and I'm kind of glad it did. He came out as MAGA, and I watched him get ran out the culture. Just Blazes on Facebook, busting that Kevin Nottingham because he came out as a MAGA enthusiast. It's so many. I've had to block so many quote unquote white rappers who would be at my shows saying F Donald Trump now because they MAGA. It's so like, I've never been, I've never really been afraid to, like, I'll be flying. I'll be having no pistols when I go to the city. I'll be having no weapons on me because I gotta fly. And I don't know what the gun laws is, and you know what I'm saying. And I know you can't have guns in New York City. You know what I'm saying. You can't. I know the guns. So I a lot of time I'm by myself, and so I would go all these different places by myself with no real weapons, and I'm still saying F Donald Trump, blah 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 blah. The way the climate is now, I don't know if it's safe to do that. because it might not even be a white.
Right.
It might not even be a white boy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, but so I kind of, and so I put together a couple different stories of when things got kind of tense with some Trump supporters, blah 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 blah. And, the ending is fictional. You know what I'm saying? I'd have to pull a pistol in real life, but I definitely it definitely got tense. You know what I'm saying? But that was my way of touching on that particular piece. You know what I'm saying? Like me being a conscious hip hop artist, these are some of the fears. These are some of the things that I might have to run into or whatever. But I love that project. I'm really mad. I didn't do his due diligence in terms of I owe that project a re-release or something like that, because that's one of my best projects. That's one of my best EPs from front to back. And I didn't do a good enough job promoting it. More people need to hear it, whatever. And I'm still performing songs off of it, but like, I should have done more with it.
So when I told you that is probably one of my top projects by you out of your catalog, how did you feel when you first read that?
Thankful, man. Because listen, man, I'm appreciative for it's so much going on, man. And like, I do everything myself, Ian. I do everything myself. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I don't do is record my music and make my merchandise. But my wife makes my merchandise. And I haven't, but everything else, I book all my shows. I make 95% of the flyers that you see, all my artwork. I do everything. I book all my tours. I manage a lot of my shows. I sell all my merch. I promote everything. You know what I'm saying? You never see me with a whole lot of fancy stuff online. So I'm doing it with my phone, which is I got in 2018 and my little ring light camera, right? I'm doing the best I possibly can. And sometimes for me, it's always been about completing the task. And and for me, completing the task, like coming with the vision and being able to complete that vision has always been the most important thing to me, more than the likes and the follows and the views. You know what I'm saying? But when I do, and you know what it is too, man. I think like when you're a conscious hip hop artist, I think people are more prone to praise rappers or artists who ask for praise. So I'm not hey, look at me, look how cool I look. You understand what I'm saying? So people, hey, I'm the flyest, I'm the freshest, I'm the flyest, I'm the freshest. They're more likely to be like, hey man, you fly, you fresh. Right? I'm rapping about socialism and Pan-Africanism. A lot of people that could be like, hey man, I like what you do with that Pan-Africanism, right? And so when I do get praises, when people do actually stop and like say, hey man, I like this the best, I like this the most, it really means something to me. Because like I make music to listen to. I don't make background music. Every song is intentional. Every song means something. Every song is for a particular purpose. Even if I'm not talking that heavy, but like I still have there's a lot of creativity that goes into it, and it's designed to be listened to. That's why you'll never see me with like a double disc or a 20 song album. Cause no, you're not gonna listen to all that. If I can make my point in 7 songs, I'm gonna make my point in 7 songs. If I'm gonna make my point in 10 songs, that's what it's gonna be. I'm not making no filler, I'm not making no fluff. I'm very intentional about what I'm saying and what I'm doing.
Always consistent, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm appreciative, you know what I'm saying, that it's still, I've been able to do so much, man, but to hear people say anything that they appreciate my art, it really means something to me, because that's the intention that I go into it with.
Indeed. And that's why I like your consistency, because you make that, it always has that substance to it, no matter what project it is. And it's, I know for other people, they allow the outside to get into their mindset of what they want to present to the world. And you really got to understand the difference between, if you're a musician, you're supposed to be expressing yourself and not let the outside influences dictate, what you're trying to do, or even for the sake of sales or trying to get that deal. If you're really out here to make the music, you're supposed to be doing what you enjoy.
especially being the son of a gospel musician. You know what I'm saying? My music is absolutely secular, but it's very spiritual as well. It has very similar spiritual intentions. You know what I'm saying? So like watching my father make this music that touch people's souls, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, Daddy was a gospel singer, so that's all I know. Making music, taking music on the road in search of saving souls. You know what I'm saying? So like it's like that was my genesis. That was my introduction into being an artist, right? And so, you know, and like I said, I like everything. I don't get it twisted. I like some Glorilla. I like Boost. I like Tucci. I like all that. You know, I like it because I'm outside. I love black folks. I love black culture. I love black experiences or whatever. But for me, like, you got 2 Chainz for whatever you want to go to 2 Chainz for. You got Benny and Conway for whatever you want to go to them for, right?
Yeah.
For everything that they're not talking about that needs to be spoken on, I'm not gonna complain about it. I'm gonna do my part.
Yep.
I'm gonna do my part. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much my approach. And you know, like with that said, like I made a special point for Black Love to be profanity free. No N words, no curse words, because I wanted my mama to be able to listen to it. I wanted, like I said, my dad been gone for 6 years. I know this is his favorite album. I want my children, I want my students, I want my co-workers to be able to listen to it. And, you know what I'm saying? And and it's not profane, there's no N words on it at all, but you can't even really tell. Like a lot of people be like, "Dang, you didn't curse." Like, I didn't. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't lose. It don't become corny because it's not crass, not profane. And so that was another level of creativity. You know, having to use my vocabulary and use different type of things to get my point across. And I really enjoyed it. I'm not gonna say everything's gonna be clean moving forward or what have you, but I definitely enjoyed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Doing a clean album. It was really fun. First time I've ever done that. It was really like no N words or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. Which is, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really proud of that, man.
And it's funny you mentioned it because I didn't really pay attention to notice it.
Right.
Every time I listen to it.
Now, so the very last song, I say, I curse on purpose so it can. I curse on purpose with the intention of it being bleeped out. You understand what I'm saying? Because I wanted people to be like, "Wait, he bleeped that out? Wait, he didn't curse the whole album." You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that just fun stuff, you know, fun stuff like that, nerdy stuff like that, like, you know, Easter eggs, you know.
So let's give the people the visuals for the track Black Love.
You want a video, man? That's one of the things that like I lost when I moved. Like I had like a nice little creative team. I either going to Jackson, Mississippi, or being in Baton Rouge. I had people I can work with. I haven't necessarily found that up here. You know what I'm saying? As far as like videography, and honestly, like everything is going towards like reels and stuff like that, anyways. But definitely, I mean, you know, like I got time. I'm gonna work this project or whatever. But it's really finding a cost-effective videographer that I really trust to do good work. I haven't had the luxury of doing that yet. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Black Love is a song I want to do a little bit more than just do like an iPhone video.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like you know, I did with 12.9. That was like a little iPhone situation that we just did off the cuff. You know what I'm saying? And it was cool. It did exactly what I wanted to do.
The quality comes out great though.
You know what I'm saying? But I want to do a little bit more than that. And so once I really find me somebody that like can give me the quality that I need, that's not going to, you know what I'm saying, cost me $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Definitely gonna do some more visuals. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you saw, but I put that scene from Sinners, you know, behind Black Love. It's on my YouTube or whatever. But just something cool to do. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Cool. Now, before we get into an important feature on Black Love by Mr. Comanche himself, tell us how it is, you know, not just to be working with him, but to connect with him, because his work is, you know, synonymous in many ways with your work as well, outside of, you know, as an MC.
So My all-time favorite album is uh The Listening by Little Brother. I'm a Little Brother stan. Fonte my favorite album. Fonte my favorite rapper. The Listen my favorite album. Little Brother my favorite group. I love I am so for me, I was born in '83. So I was very, very young when the Native Tongues came out. So I can't even cap to you like I'm like a huge Tribe fan because I was really young.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So for my generation of people, so like Dead Prayers is my Public Enemy, right? Little Brother is my Tribe, and the Justice League is my Native Tongues.
Okay.
Right? And so I love North Carolina hip hop. I love everything they got going on out of there, right? The first feature on Little Brother's Listening is Cesar Comanche. He's ranting like a crazy man, right? And so like me listening to that album and like loving that album and then getting into his solo stuff and then having him as a mentor to like, I can literally hit him right now. He'll hit me back. Like he is like that's like my uncle for real, right? He's actually gonna be. I actually got him booked in Oklahoma. I'm gonna be on the road, but he gonna and I got to this day like he's still giving me game. He's still giving me wisdom. I'm helping him book shows. He's helping me book shows. You know what I'm saying? And like he's the person who like. So one time it was 2017, I want to say, and so like before this, every summer. Every year I'm performing, and I got up to like maybe like, I got up maybe to like 9 states. You know what I'm saying, for the whole year, and so I made up my mind that I wanted to perform in 15 states in 2015. 2017, which is crazy because I'm literally about to perform in 10 states next month, right? So 15 states ain't nothing no more, and I could do more if I wasn't teaching, right? But it took me 11 months to do 15 states. I'm literally about to do that in 2 months. You know what I'm saying? Or in 56 days, really. You know what I'm saying? 54 days. Right. So, anyways, but like, so in the middle of 15 states of bus, I'm already actively traveling, not necessarily touring, but going to different states, rapping, performing, getting my name out there. Right. And I bring Cesar to Baton Rouge. Nobody comes to the show. And I'm embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed because I got him. Him and Ghost Dog then drove all the way from North Carolina to Louisiana, and nobody came to the show. So afterwards, I definitely took an L. I definitely had to pay my insurance a couple of days later because I had to go to the ATM. My wife's still mad at me probably. You know what I'm saying? I had to go to the ATM. And you know what I'm saying? And literally across the street from the venue, pay him his money. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You take losses, right? So afterwards, we go to a diner called Louis. And my man Justin Ivy was the editor-in-chief for Kevin Nottingham. Then he wrote for Double XL. Then he wrote for Hip Hop DX. He's no longer a hip hop writer, but he's very well respected as a hip hop journalist. So he's there. A couple of the homies are at the venue, and so Justin is kind of like, I'm apologizing. I'm embarrassed, and Cesar said, "Hey man, it's all good or whatever." So Justin's kind of explaining to Cesar as far as like what it's like trying to do what I'm doing in Louisiana, trying to do like underground hip hop. I'm the same age as Boosie, so I came up at the same time he did on the other side of the tracks, on the other side of the game. And that's what dominates everything, right? So me trying to do like real, true school backpack hip hop, even though in real life I'm probably more like Lil Boosie. You know what I'm saying? I just rap like Common, but I'm really more like Lil Boosie in real life or whatever. But the type of music that I make is more, you know what I'm saying? It tends towards backpack or whatever, right? Not necessarily boom bap, but definitely backpack. So he's explaining that to him, and Cesar says something, and I quote this all the time. I live by it. He said, I was born in Jackson, North Carolina. I live in Raleigh, Carolina, but I rap where my fans are. If I have 10 fans in Iowa, I'm going to Iowa. If I have 10 fans in Michigan, I'm going to Michigan.
Yeah.
If I have 10 fans in Albuquerque, I'm going to Albuquerque. If there's 10 people who think enough of me to buy concert tickets or CDs or T-shirts, I want to go slap dap with them. And he was like, once I do that, I'm gonna build relationships with them. I'm gonna keep growing. And so like, I was already on the road. I was already touring, and this is around the same time that like I'm listening to like Blueprint's podcast, and he's talking about direct to consumer distribution via touring. And so I'm learning all this stuff from these geniuses, these vets at the same time, how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Coming from Ohio, coming from North Carolina. And I'm really soaking all this game in. And so Cesar Comanche, he can never do any wrong. I call him Sensei. You know, he's real calm. He's like Master Splinter. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I
Very
get that
calm.
yeah.
He doesn't waste any words. Everything he says is well thought out. You know what I'm saying? Brother Black. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So the way I got him on the you know, he was on the remix to a song I did on Everything I Love on the Real or whatever. But the way this song came about was he was so I was wrapping up a unit on Southern hip hop, and the last two states I talked about was Virginia and North Carolina. And so I played one of his videos. I said, hey, I know him. That's one of my mentors. You don't know him. I said, bet that up. I'm gonna have him talk to you out here. Right? So I get him on my Zoom and we do an interview. And like I want to say he turns 50 this summer. And I was just moved by how passionate he was about hip hop. I was just moved by like, you know, hey man, I'll do this until I can't do it no more. I love hip hop. This is what I do. I've been blessed. He was like, you know, I still ain't wrote my best rhyme yet. I still ain't did my best show yet. I still ain't blah, 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 blah. And it just moved me. Just like, man, I'm over 40, 41 at the 41, 42 at the time. I'm just kind of like, oh, I got about 2 or 3 more years left. You know what I'm saying? He's 50 years old talking like he's 25.
Fresh. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so that really inspired me. And on the other end of the spectrum, Alfred Banks, he's a decade younger than me. You know what I'm saying? He's in his early to mid 30s. And like, he's relentless. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to get 2 of the most dedicated people to this craft that I know. You have a rapper from the 80s, rapper from the 70s, rappers from the 90s on the same record. And like, I love Cesar's verses because like on top of like, he definitely had a show still the verse in my opinion, like his flow, his cadence, but what he was saying. He dropped so many gems as far as like what you need, you know what I'm saying, to be a successful independent artist. And it's like, you know, it's like, and because I really feel like people this age don't have to give a shit no more. They ain't got to. I'm 42. It's my turn. It's my generation. It's millennials' turn. It's millennials' turn to take everything that Gen X taught us and pass it to Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Y'all did, you know what I'm saying? Y'all did, Gen X did all this hard work with no internet. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all really had to go, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all really had to go. I remember when I was in high school, you couldn't send the MP3. When I was in high school. So I can imagine what it was, you know what I'm saying, in 95.
Walking
you know what I'm saying, in the early 90s, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
saying? You had to put some work in.
Yeah.
You had to rap. It wasn't you couldn't rap on this. You know what I'm saying? It didn't think you're doing something. So they put the work in. And so I feel like it's my generation's turn to like, you know, hey, we got to be the leaders now. Y'all have done y'all part. Do what you want to do. I'm gonna support you. Like when he said, hey, Brother Black, I'm trying to go on tour. Where you want to go? I got you. No questions asked. Let me make this phone call. I'm gonna be out of town, but I'm gonna get you here, right? Because he put that work in.
Yeah.
But for him to be so gracious and not only give me the verse, but say the things that he did on that verse, like I still look up to him. He part of the Justice League, man. Like I'm always gonna look at him like I'm always gonna have him on his pedestal on that, and then just being the person that he's been for me. Like I remember the first time I went to North Carolina and I went to Missy Ann's studio. That was like me going to Chung King or something. That was like me going to Electric Lady. When in reality, this is his house. This is his apartment. But it's hollow grounds for me because this is where my favorite album of all time was recorded. This is where Buckshot recorded. This is where Big Daddy Kane recorded. This is where Knife Wonder made some of the best beats I've ever heard in my life. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, yeah, I'm forever like that's somebody who, you know what I'm saying? Big shout out to Cesar Comanche. I love that brother.
Man, that's beautiful. And I was saying before, he definitely gives off, you know, that energy that a sensei, you know, he's calculated with, you know, his actions and his words and all that wisdom embedded in him.
One time, there was an artist out here who kind of did some shady stuff, right? And so I believe in justice. I don't necessarily believe in revenge. but I believe in justice. But Buddy did some kind of shady to me, right? And so I came up with a plan. I was gonna book him for a show, even pay him,
Mm-hmm.
and then perform behind him and run him off the stage. That was my plan. I was like, you know what? Long story short, the rapper took me out. I got booked by the venue for the show.
Mm-hmm.
And when he saw that I was on the bill, he took me off the bill. And it really made me mad. It really made me mad. And so I was like, you know what? All right, cool. I'm gonna book him for a show.
Mm-hmm.
I throw him $100, and I'm gonna go on behind him. Pause. I'm gonna run him off this. I'm gonna light him up. I'm gonna give the performance of my life and make him look stupid. And I was about to hit him up. I said, you know what? What would Cesar do? I said, Cesar, this is what happened. Should I do this? Brother Black, come on, man. You got better ways to use your energy. I'm like, all right, Sensei. All right. You're right. You know what I'm saying? If I'd have asked somebody else, they probably would have told me to crash out. You know what I'm saying? But Sensei Cesar Comanche was like, Brother Black, nah, brother. I'm like, all right, man. I ain't gonna do that to him. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't too many people who I would listen to, but he definitely has a level of respect in my eyes. If 9 times out of 10, if you say it's not a good idea, it's not a good idea. And if you say it is a good idea, he ain't let me wrong yet.
Yep. Now I gotta ask this question because anybody that listens to Marcel P. Black knows real MCs don't rap over vocals. When's the last time you've seen that in person?
Rap on vocals?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what was that? A couple weeks ago? I don't know, man. It's funny. Like, I was living in Louisiana when I started the Red Road movement, and I was touring a lot. So people down there, they know, like, oh man, it's been so many times people have apologized for rapping on my vocals in front of me. People who have like I've had people book for shows. And when they found out that I was on the bill, they didn't even show up. Right.
Wow.
And, it was funny. I'm a big guy, so I guess I could be intimidating that capacity. But I really don't fuss at nobody. You know what I'm saying? I really don't, because I don't teach like that. I can just show you how to do it without it. Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of people say, hey, man, I didn't know. I've had people rap over vocals. They see me, to come buy my T-shirt. Right. But up here, I guess I ain't been out here in the streets long enough to know that, like, you know what I'm saying, that, like, it's a lot of people who are scared of me. But I'm telling you, it's crazy how, like, we gang bang up here in Oklahoma, Crips and Bloods, right? You would think I was a gang banging murderer. Oh man, rapping with vocals is so divisive. Nigga, you got every song is about you shooting somebody or selling drugs to a pregnant mother, but you talking about whatever. So like, you know what I'm saying? But people. So like I said, I'm still fairly new here, and like I'm a little older, so I'm not really at like a lot of these young guys shows. I'm not facilitating, because in Baton Rouge I was a facilitator. Hell, and Louis, like in the deep South, like to this day, like if you want to get a show in the South, you got to pretty much call me. Whatever. Well, I ain't say you got to, but you need to. Because if I push the button, you good. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like that here. So because I'm not really involved as a facilitator. I'm taking this time now that I'm older to really focus on what I got going on.
Right.
Kind of put myself first finally after 20 years, right? And so they don't really know me like that. And so I went to a show, and like the first person, another guy from New Orleans, he rapping, never rap over vocals. He's a little older, closer to my age. Everybody else, and the whole time, the people who know me looking at me like, I'm like, I ain't gonna say nothing. It ain't even work. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? Because I got in trouble for that a couple times up here. You know what I'm saying? People getting mad. I'm like, come on, man. This dude literally just talking about shooting a 2-year-old, and you mad because I say rhythms in the rap over vocals. But everywhere else, the people who know, they know. People who know, they know. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and so it's like I said, it's pros and it's cons to it. I love the culture. I love live performance. My favorite thing to do in this world besides spend time with my family. But in some ways, it's overshadowed what I really stand for. You know what I'm saying? So, but I take it with, like, I have the quote unquote Red Rover anthem that I really only do by request. Or like, for instance, I'm going to Seattle next week, and like literally the promoter was like, hey, I need the railroad chapter of the Pacific Northwest to pull up. So now I got to do it because that's what they want to see. You know what I'm saying? Or I know when I go to Boston, they're gonna want to see that, right? You know what I'm saying? But you know, and I mentioned it, you know, maybe a bar or two in some songs or whatever. But like, I'm at a point right now, man, especially what's going on outside. You know what I'm saying? It's really important for me to like really. I want you to get. I don't want to spend 30 minutes rapping and all you hear is railroad. That's the only thing you take from it. I want you to hear Black empowerment. I want you to hear a critique of capitalism. I want you to hear me, you know, trying to
speak positive of the women.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to hear that. I don't want it to get overshadowed. But like, you know, if people request it, you know what I'm saying? I'll do the railroad song. But you know, like I said, July still really see the wrap up of vocals, but I'm still gonna celebrate it like I always do. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, but like I said, railroad's been good to me. Like, there's nothing like I've definitely made more money off of railroad t-shirts than all the albums I've sold.
Wow.
For one, because they cost more. I can sell them for $25 to $35 as opposed to $10 for a CD. You know what I'm saying? But I've definitely I've sold I want to say the Black Outside tour. I want to say I sold like 400 t-shirts in like a summer at $35 a pop.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? So no, I'm sorry, that was 2000. That was the railroad tour. It's 5-year anniversary. That was 2024, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that was a 5-year anniversary. So I had the t-shirts for 35. I sold like 400 of them. So I've definitely like, you do the math, man. You know what I'm saying? You know that allowed me to sleep in Marriott's as opposed to Motel 6s. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Eat at Outback on the road as opposed to McDonald's a couple different times. You know what I'm saying? And pay bills or whatever. But you know, shout out to all the Red Rovers. Shout out to all the MCs, man. It's like, man, like I said, man, this is a more than just an art form. This is an African expression.
It is, indeed.
This is African expression. So we got to make sure that we stand true to our ancestors, stand true to the roots. And even if you're not Black, right? This is a Black art form. This is a Black culture. This African art form. This is African culture. Respect it. Indeed. Don't bring your white supremacists and rapping over vocals around me. The white man's over vocal rap. You know what I'm saying? Don't bring that around me.
And on Friday, June 5th, in Seattle, the Summer for Black Love Tour begins with Marcel P. Black, Shubzilla, Bill Beats, and my fam, Seven the Panther.
I'm excited, man. I've never been to Seattle before. That's why I love hip hop, man. I'm a country boy, man. The majority, I performed at the end of the summer. I will have performed in, I think, 40 states. You know what I'm saying? Overall, and
not too many can say that.
Of those 40 states, I would say probably 30 of them was because of hip hop. So I love it. I'm going to South Dakota, man. My black ain't got no business in South Dakota if it wasn't for hip hop. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm going to South Dakota, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting flown out to South Dakota, and I wouldn't be in Vermont, man. I wouldn't be in New Hampshire. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a blessing, man. Hip hop is taking me a lot of different places.
That's great. It's great, and those analytics of finding where the fans are at definitely, you know, pays off. It helps.
You got to tap in with the real people, man.
Yep. Indeed. I don't want to keep you much longer, but I don't think I asked you this last time. Where did the signature, "Oh Lord," come from?
I mean, I grew up in a church, man.
I kind of figured that.
But no, I really don't know, man. Like, I remember the song. The song was Jigga City Blues, 2010. I recorded that on maybe July 1st, 2010, and that was the first song that really took off for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm critical of the local politics. I was critical of like jig rap that was going on, the music or whatever, and like that was a song that cut through for me. And so I don't know if you listen, if you pay attention to me like on a real nerdy level, I never rap on the one. Like when I start my verses, I never start on the one. And so like there's like a pause, whatever. And so everybody does an everybody does a yo. And one day like, oh Lord, you know what I'm saying? It just came out. And like that just and then I added later, I added the have mercy, you know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, if there's an oh Lord, 4 to 8 bars later, there's a have mercy. If there's a break in it, you know what I'm saying? Or like if I'm trying to emphasize a point or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So oh Lord have mercy, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, just trying to, man, just being creative, like, you know, Master P had the Jesus had the year, you know, everybody got their own thing. And I was like what could I do that's unique, and it pays homage to my roots. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
I love that.
Yeah, that's ain't nobody ever asked me that before, man. I appreciate you asking me that question.
Yeah, I was definitely wondering that, because like you said, everybody got their signature, and I wanted to know where that came from.
Absolutely, man.
Black Love is also on CD, like most of your catalog, and I wanted to mention that earlier. I forgot about that, but definitely, as we know, he's about to tour. So if you get to the show, definitely pick up, you know, some merch, T-shirts, hoodies.
In the South, man. Shout out to Jack Maybe, my go-to engineer. Shout out to Jay Philly, man. It sounds so good on CD. Like I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this because I'm selling CDs. I'm saying this because like yes, you're listening, you're streaming your stuff, and artists don't get paid. But man, these streaming sites are killing the quality of the music. At least with Bandcamp, when you download it, you get to choose the quality you download it in, right? So you can get the high waves, you can get the high resolutions or whatever. But man, it sounds so good on CD. So like not even just me, like buy somebody else's CD. Like we have to own the music, man, because we just renting it. And because the way we rent music on streaming, it don't pay the artist enough at all. It don't pay nowhere near. That's why I love Bandcamp or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, get the CD, play it in the whip, man. It ain't nothing fancy. When you put it in, I swear to God, it sounds like
love it.
It sounds just as good as in any high quality mainstream album.
Indeed. Before we go, definitely let the people know where they can reach out to you, because I appreciate being able to speak with you, listen to your music, know your catalog, and know that the solidarity and our liberation, you know, working as a community, and we have a educator right here, you know, reaching the youth in the way that it should be, you know, being able to speak with them in the same way they're able to speak with him is very important. So let us know where they can reach out to you.
Cool. MarcelPBlack.com. My entire discography, which is 20 albums and EPs and merch and whatever, that is on marcelpblack.bandcamp.com. If you're gonna support, that's the best way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like you get the best quality, you have access to like merchandise and CDs and things of that nature. On social media, on Instagram, somebody hacked me last year, so I'm Marcel P Black Official. That's MarcelPBlack official on Instagram. They finally got on TikTok. I think it's whatever. I don't even know. I don't even know. I told my wife I'd never get on TikTok, but I was like, you know what? This next album is incredible. I need everybody to hear it. So yeah, Marcel P Black on TikTok, Facebook. You know, we on. So always on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Marcel P Black. Twitter, I don't really go to Twitter much, but look at tennis shoes at this point. You know what I'm saying? So Marcel P Black on Twitter, and like I said, I'm gonna be in. I'm gonna see if I can do this real quick, Ian. I'm gonna see if I can run down my tour dates without looking at nothing.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? So, because I'm best in person, right? So, June 5th, Seattle. June 6th, Parkland, Washington. June 10th, Fort Wayne, Indiana. June 11th, Detroit, Michigan. June 12th, Columbus, Ohio. June 18th, Burlington, Vermont. June 19th, Brooklyn. So I know you're in New York City.
Yep.
EK all day. Secret Poor, Brooklyn, New York. Juneteenth. Brooklyn. I'm a country boy, man. So rapping them in Juneteenth in Brooklyn is crazy to me. I'm excited about that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? June 20th, Portland, Maine. June 21st, Manchester, New Hampshire. June 23rd, my debut in Boston. June 23rd. Take a break. July 3rd, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. It's in between. It's close to like Nashville, Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Yep.
I
That's
was
my
I was supposed to go to California. That got postponed, so I'm home for a good part of July. But July 21st, I'm in Athens, Georgia. July 23rd, Pensacola, Florida. July 24th, Jackson, Mississippi. July 25th, which is Railroad Day in New Orleans, Louisiana. July 29th, the last day of the tour, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
There it
Boom,
is.
boom. So I'm a history major, man. That the dates work for me. You know what I'm saying? So like dates work for me. So yeah. So when you ask the best place to see me, the best place to see me is in person. So if you see me near any of these places, pop out. Tell them that you know what I'm saying, my man Ian sent you. You know, boom, 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 slap it out. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna flick it up. And like I said, I want to meet you.
Indeed, I definitely look forward to it. And also shout out to Stay on Mars and Joe Scott.
My guy, bruh. Me is so real quick. Me and Mars are like the greatest odd couple of all time. I call him snacks because this dude eat more than I do. He snacks all day, all day. Literally, he snacks from the time we whatever. But that's my guy. Stay on Mars. That's my guy, man. For the last maybe 3 or 4 times, every time I come to New England, we get in the car and we go. You know what I'm saying? And I brought him to Texas this past year, so we running it back. That's my guy, Joe Scott. Joe Scott was a teenager when I first met him. In the late, you know what I'm saying, 2010s or whatever. He just turned 30, I want to say. He was a teenager when I met him. And I've watched him grow as an MC. I watched him grow into a father. I watched him grow into a husband, a man working in his community, doing dope hip hop, doing his own shows, booking his own tour. I told myself, like I was telling you earlier, Ian, like as an elder statesman, it's my job to open up the doors for the next generation as it did for me. And I told myself I want to get a young MC, not only to put him on this album and kind of like get him some more eyes, but I also want to take him on the road. And a lot of rappers wasn't ready. I sent that record to a lot of people. It wasn't ready. And Joe is ready. And he's dope. He's dope. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to Joe Scott. He's gonna be in the Midwest with me. And Stay on Mars gonna be in on the New England leg with me.
That's dope. I'm definitely look forward to that. And we have to again give Marcel P. Black his flowers because again, this man says he's doing it pretty much all himself. Go look at his IG, you know, the examples there. Look at his Bandcamp, the examples are there. Flyers, all the promotion, marketing, you know, setting up the tour. You know, this is a lot for one person and independent. Remember that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, bro. It's been a blessing, man. I mean, I really appreciate you. I appreciate the time. I'm glad we got. I listened to the other one the other day. You know what I'm saying? I always appreciate having a conversation with you, and I'm looking forward to see you when I come to Brooklyn.
Indeed. So for tonight, y'all, Marcel P. Black, the album Black Love is out now, digital and CDs. Go check it out. I put the Bandcamp in the comments for y'all. Definitely go support. And until next time, peace, y'all.
Peace.